Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the women of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, he seized her and lay with her and humiliated her. And his soul was drawn to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this girl for my wife." Now Jacob heard that he had defiled his daughter Dinah, but his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace until they came. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. The sons of Jacob had come in from the field as soon as they heard of it, and the men were indignant and very angry, because he had done an outrageous thing in Israel, by lying with Jacob's daughter, for such a thing must not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him to be his wife. Make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters for yourselves. You shall dwell with them, and shall be open to you. Dwell and trade in it, and get property in it." Shechem also said to her father and to her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me for as great a bride price and gift as you will, and I will give whatever you say to me. Only give me the young woman to be my wife." The sons of Jacob answered Shechem and his father Hamor, because he had defiled their sister Dinah. They said to them, "We cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a disgrace to us. Only on this condition will we agree with you, that you will become as we are by every male among you being circumcised. Then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to ourselves, and we will dwell with you and become one people. But if you will not listen to us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and we will be gone." Their words pleased Hamor and Hamor's son Shechem, and the young man did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now he was the most honored of all his father's house. So Hamor and his son Shechem came to the gate of their city and spoke to the men of their city, saying, "These men are at peace with us. Let them dwell in the land and trade in it, for behold, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men agree to dwell with us to become one people, when every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock, their property, and all their beasts be ours? Only let us agree with them, and they will dwell with us." And all who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor, his son Shechem, and every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. On the third day, when they were sore, two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords and came against the city while it felt secure, and killed all the males. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went away. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds, their donkeys, and whatever was in the city and in the field, all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, all that was in the houses they captured and plundered. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me by making me stink to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. My numbers are few, and if they gather themselves against me and attack me, I shall be destroyed, both I and my household." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a prostitute?"
You need water and a towel nearby.
Chapter 35.
Remember, have a chair nearby.
God said to Jacob,
You guys ready?
"Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there. Make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau." So Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, "Put away the foreign gods that are among you, and purify yourselves, and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress, and has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods that they had, and the rings that were in their ears. Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree that was near Shechem. And as they journeyed, a terror from God fell upon the cities that were around them, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him, and there he built an altar and called the place El Bethel. because there God had revealed himself to him when he fled from his brother. And Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried under an oak below Bethel. So he called its name Allon-Bacuth. God appeared to Jacob again when he came to Paddan-aram, and blessed him. And God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name." So he called his name Israel. And God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body. The land that I gave to Abraham and Isaac I will give to you, and I will give the land to your offspring after you." Then God went up from him in the place where he had spoken with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he had spoken with him, a pillar of stone. He poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. So Jacob called the name of the place where God had spoken with him Bethel. Then they journeyed from Bethel. When they were still some distance from Ephrath, Rachel went into labor, and she had hard labor. And when her labor was at its hardest, the midwife said to her, "Do not fear, for you have another son." And as her soul was departing, for she was dying, she called his name Ben-Oni. But his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died, and she was barren on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set up a pillar over her tomb. It is the pillar of Rachel's tomb, which is there to this day. Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. While Israel lived in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard of it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, Dan and Naphtali. The son of Zilpah, Leah's servant, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Paddan-aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years, and Isaac breathed his last, and he died and was gathered to his people, old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Chapter 36. These are the generations of Esau, that is Edom. Esau took his wives from the Canaanites: Ida, the daughter of Elon the Hittite; Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite; and Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, the sister of Nebaioth. And Ida bore to Esau Eliphaz. Basemath bore Reuel. And Aholibamah bore Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau who were born to him in the land of Canaan. Then Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the members of his household, his livestock, all his beasts, and all his property that he had acquired in the land of Canaan. He went into a land away from his brother Jacob, for their possessions were too great for them to dwell together. The land of their sojournings could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau settled in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom. These are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Ida, the wife of Esau; Reuel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah was a concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son. She bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These are the sons of Ida, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife. She bore to Esau Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the chiefs of the sons of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau. Chiefs: Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the chiefs of Eliphaz, land of Edom. These are the sons of Ida. These are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son. The chiefs Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah.
Downhold.
These are the chiefs of Reuel in the land of Edom.
Back's flat.
These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife. The chiefs Jaish, Jalem, and Korah.
Okay, let's go.
These are the chiefs born of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, that is Edom, and these are their chiefs. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, the inhabitants of the land. Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. These are the chiefs of the Horites, the sons of Seir in the land of Edom. The sons of Lotan were Hori and Chemeth, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. These are the sons of Shobal, Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These are the sons of Zibeon, Aiah, and Anah. He is the Anah who found the hot springs in the wilderness, as he pastured the donkeys of Zibeon, his father. These are the children of Anah, Dishan and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah. These are the sons of Dishan, Himdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Kiran. These are the sons of Ezer, Bilhan, Zayavan, and Achan. These are the sons of Dishan, Uz, and Aram. These are the chiefs of the Horites, the chiefs Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishan, Ezer, and Dishan. These are the chiefs of the Horites, chief by chief in the land of Seir. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, the name of his city being Ben-Habah. Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah, reigned in his place. Jobab died, and Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. Husham died, and Hadad the son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the country of Moab, reigned in his place, the name of his city being Avith. Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his place. Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth on the Euphrates reigned in his place. Shaul died, and Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor reigned in his place. Baal-Hanan the son of Achbor died, and Hadar reigned in his place, the name of his city being Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, daughter of Mezahab. These are the names of the chiefs of Esau according to their clans and their dwelling places by their names. The chiefs Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Aholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These are the chiefs of Edom, that is Esau, the father of Edom, according to their dwelling places in the land of their possession.
Same thing with the feet. Left hand's on the hip. We're going to start with the right hand.
Chapter 37.
Drop it down.
Jacob lived in the land of his father's sojournings in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of
See
Jacob.
a straight line from here to here?
Joseph,
Really
being
important.
17 years old, was pasturing the flock with his brothers. He was a boy with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any other of his sons, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a robe of many colors. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peacefully to him. Now Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Hear this dream that I have dreamed. Behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and behold, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf." His brothers said to him, "Are you indeed to reign over us? Or are you indeed to rule over us?" So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Then he dreamed another dream and told it to his brothers and said, "Behold, I have dreamed another dream. Behold, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." But when he told it to his father and to his brothers, his father rebuked him and said to him, "What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your brothers indeed come to bow ourselves to the ground before you?" And his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the saying in mind. Now his brothers went to pasture their father's flock near Shechem, and Israel said to Joseph, "Are not your brothers pasturing the flock at Shechem? Come, I will send you to them." And he said to him, "Here I am." So he said to him, Go now, see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring word.
Just like
So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem.
back again.
And a man found him wandering in the fields. And the man
Back
asked
legs
him,
are nice and straight,
"What are you
guys.
seeking?"
Boom, make sure that knee's
"I
over the
am
ankle.
seeking my brothers," he
And
said.
let's turn. Here we
"Tell me, please, where they are pasturing the flock."
back leg
And the
straight.
man said,
Let's see the form.
"They have gone away, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'"
Turn for me.
So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan.
Back leg. See how straight that leg is?
They saw him from afar. Before he came near to them, they conspired against him to kill him.
And turn. Last
They
one.
said to one another, "Here
Straight
comes
back leg for me.
Dreamer.
Show, I know you can do it.
Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. We will say that a fierce animal has devoured him, and we will see what will become of his dreams."
Good.
But when Reuben heard it, he rescued him out of their hands, saying,
That's
"Let
it,
us
round
not
one.
take his
We're gonna
life."
stretch.
And
First thing we
Reuben said to
stretch
them,
the quad.
"Shed
Just
no
use-
blood.
all right?
Throw him into this pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him,
That quad. If you don't
that
feel
he might
stand
rescue him
tall.
out of their hand to restore him to his father."
Hold this for a few beats.
So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the robe of many colors that he wore, and they took him and threw him into a pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it.
Nice and tall.
Then they sat down to eat. And looking up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels bearing gum, balm, and myrrh on their way to carry it down to Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, "What profit is it if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him. For he is our brother, our own
Here
flesh."
we go. This side.
And his brothers listened to him. Then Midianite traders passed by, and they drew Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelite for 20 shekels of silver. They took Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not in the pit, he tore his clothes and returned to his brothers and said,
One more.
"The boy is gone, and where shall I go?"
Stretch is
Then they
over.
took
You guys ready
Joseph's
for the next
robe and
round?
slaughtered a goat
Fly
and
push-ups.
dipped the robe in the blood. And they sent the robe of many colors and brought it to their father and said, "This found, please identify whether it is your son's robe or not." And he identified it and said, "It is my son's robe.
See you guys.
A fierce animal has
See you as the
devoured
first
him."
round. Back
Joseph is
straight.
without doubt
Stomach
torn
tight.
to pieces.
Nice feet.
Then Jacob
Heads
tore
are
his
down.
garments and put sackcloth on his loins
And down.
and mourned for his son many days.
Down. Hold.
All his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him,
Yeah, you guys.
but he
Good, good.
refused to be comforted and said,
Good form.
"No,
We're almost there.
I shall go down to
15
Sheol
reps.
to my son,
So we're
mourning."
15 here.
Thus his father wept for him.
And nice form.
Meanwhile, the Midianites had sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard.
Hold. And up. Hold. And
Chapter 38.
going to back flies next.
It happened at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hiram.
Flying like a bird.
There Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. He took her and went into her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name
See
Er.
what you're doing back there, you guys.
She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan.
Look how flat that back is.
Yet again she bore a son, and she called his name Shelah.
There you go.
Judah was in Egypt when she bore
What
him.
you don't want to do is make this a shoulder
And Judah
exercise.
took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar.
Lower back.
But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, "Go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of daughter-in-law to her, and raise up offspring for your brother."
Standard press.
But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his.
Guys ready?
So whenever he went into his brother's wife, he would waste the semen on the ground,
Back and straight.
so as not to give offspring to his brother.
Place him right here at the top of the
And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law,
Remember, guys.
"Remain a widow in your father's house, till Shelah my son grows up,"
Don't overdo it with the weights.
for he feared that he would die like his brothers.
And back.
So Tamar went and remained in her father's house. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died.
Those resistance bands really
When
work.
Judah was comforted, he went up to Timnah to his sheep shearers, he and his friend Hiram the Adullamite.
Come nice and low down the
And when
bottom.
Tamar was told, "Your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep,"
That's it.
she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself
Here
up,
we go.
and sat at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown up, and she had not been given to him in marriage.
Get him adjusted.
When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face.
chest is up.
He turned to
Open
her
up
at the
those hands
roadside
off
and
the
said,
side and curl.
"Come, let me come into you." For he did not know
Never
that
lose
she
your
was his
posture. Really
daughter-in-law.
important. Don't bend
She
over.
said,
Straighten the
"What
arms
will
to
you
the
give
bottom,
me that you may
all
come
the way
into me?"
open, and then
He
all
answered,
the way closed.
"I will send you a young goat from the flock."
Let's see.
And she said,
Good.
"If
One
you
nice
give me a
straight arm.
pledge
Perfect.
until you send it."
Straighten that
He
arm.
said,
Back is straight. Head
"Well,
is
what
up.
pledge shall I give you?"
Really, really tones up the
She
biceps.
replied,
It's a great exercise.
"Your signet and your
Nice
cord and your staff that is in your
Looking good.
hand."
Remember, 8 to 15 reps.
So he gave them to her
Every
and
week
went
we're
into
gonna
her,
do 15 here,
and she
okay?
conceived
We
by
got
him.
5 left.
Then she arose and went away,
Here we go.
and
We're gonna
taking
finish
off her veil, she put on the garments of her widowhood. When Judah sent the young goat by his friend the Adullamite to take back the pledge from the woman's hand, he did not find her.
Now we got 2 arm kickbacks.
And he asked the men of the place,
Triceps. We're gonna give you a side
"Where is
cross.
the
Let's see
cult
what it looks like.
prostitute
Bend
who was
over.
at Enaim at the
Right
roadside?"
from the back, just like that.
And they said, "No cult prostitute has been here."
Bent over.
So he turned to Judah and said,
Start the shoulders.
"I have not found her."
Kick him back.
Also the men of the place said, "No cult prostitute has been here." And Judah replied,
Let's see.
"Oh, let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at.
Good, good.
You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her."
And all the way to
About
the
3
shoulders.
months later, Judah was told,
There you go. And squeeze
"Tamar,
back
your daughter-in-law, has
Squeeze
been
right there.
immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality."
Also, remember,
And Judah said,
this
"Bring her
exercise is
out
tough,
and let her
so
be
lighten your
burned."
weights a little bit. Build
As
the
she was
shoulders
being
and the
brought out,
triceps.
she sent
We
word
got
to her
4 reps
father-in-law,
Here we go.
"By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant." Then she said, "Please identify whose these are, the signet and the cord and the staff."
One more.
Then Judah identified them and said, "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah."
Lunge, squat,
And he
combo.
did not know her
Right
again.
leg first, just like the lunges, but we do
When the
squats
time of her labor came,
We do 3.
there were
Here we go.
twins in her womb.
Down.
And when she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying,
You wanna make sure
"This
all the
one
way
came
up,
out first."
Nice and tall at the top.
But as he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out. And she said, "What a breach you have made for yourself."
Right leg.
Therefore
down.
his name was called Perez.
And
Afterward
here
his
we go.
brother came out with the scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah.
Guys, just take your time. Let's check the form. Let's see. Good.
Chapter 39.
And turn.
Now Joseph had been brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard, an Egyptian, had bought him from the Ishmaelites who had brought him down there.
Nice and tall.
The Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man, and he was in the house of his Egyptian master.
Turn.
His master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord caused all that he did to
Big lunge.
succeed in his
Legs
hands.
got to be straight. Really,
So
really good.
Joseph
3
found
squats.
favor in his sight and attended him,
See the
and he
shoulders
made
down,
him
nice and tall,
overseer of
you
his
come.
house, and
Hands
put him in
up,
charge of all that he had.
Good.
From the time that he made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. The blessing of the Lord was on all that he had, in house and field.
Take your time, check your
So
weight.
he left all that he had in Joseph's charge, and because of him, he had no concern about anything but the food he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. And after a time, his master's wife cast her eyes on Joseph and said,
Grab the right ankle.
"Lie with me."
Get that quad.
But he refused, and his master's wife,
Nice and tall.
"Behold, because of me, my master has no concern about anything in the house, and he has put everything that he has in my charge.
And let's get that right
He is
hand
not
through the
greater
calf.
in this house than I am, nor has he kept back anything from me except you, because you are his wife.
Switch up. Side.
How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" And as she spoke to Joseph day after day, he would not listen to her, to lie beside her, or to be with her.
Let's do it
But
again.
one day, when he went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was there in the house, she caught him by his garment,
Okay,
saying,
round 3.
"Lie
7,
with
7,
me."
7. Right on the floor.
But he left the garment in her hand and fled and got out of the house.
Same kind of thing.
And as soon as she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and had fled out of the house, she called to the men of her household and said to them, "See, he has brought among us a Hebrew to laugh at us. He came in to lie with me, and I cried out with a loud voice.
Same thing.
And as soon as he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried out
Make sure to breathe.
beside me and fled and got out of the house, then she laid up his garment by her until his master came home. And she told him the same story, saying,
Down.
"The Hebrew servant whom you have brought among us came in to me to laugh at me.
Really, really important.
As soon as I lifted up my voice and cried, he left his garment beside me and fled out of the house."
See, this is you get those elbows nice and
As soon as his master heard the words that his wife spoke to him, "This is the way your servant treated me." His anger was kindled, and Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever was done there, he was the one who did it. The keeper of the prison paid no attention to anything that was in Joseph's charge, because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it succeed.
Lay the cable on the ground. Step on the cable with your left foot. Grab the handle with your right hand.
Chapter 40.
And pull across your body.
Sometime after this, the cupbearer of the king of Egypt and his baker committed an offense against their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry with his two officers, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard appointed Joseph to be with them, and he attended them. They continued for some time in custody. And one night they both dreamed, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the prison. Each his own dream, and each dream with an interpretation. When Joseph came to them in the morning, he saw that they were troubled. So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in custody in his master's house, "Why are your faces downcast today?" They said to him, "We have had dreams, and there is no one to interpret them." And Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Please tell them to me." So the chief cupbearer told his dream to Joseph and said to him, "In my dream there was a vine before me, and on the vine there were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, its blossoms shot forth, and the clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand." Then Joseph said to him, "This is its interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you shall place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as formerly, when you were his cupbearer. Only remember me when it is well with you, and please do me the kindness to mention me to Pharaoh, and so get me out of this house. For I was indeed stolen out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that they should put me in the pit." When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was favorable, he said to Joseph, "I also had a dream. There were 3 cake baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there were all sorts of baked food for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating it out of the basket on my head." And Joseph answered and said, "This is its interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head from you and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat the flesh from you." On the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, he made a feast for all his servants, and lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and the head of the chief baker among his servants. He restored the chief cupbearer to his position, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet the chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. Chapter 41. After 2 whole years, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing by the Nile. And behold, there came up out of the Nile 7 cows attractive and plump, and they fed in the reed grass. 7 other cows, ugly and thin, came up out of the Nile after them, and stood by the other cows on the bank of the Nile. And the ugly, thin cows ate up the 7 attractive, plump cows. And Pharaoh awoke. And he fell asleep and dreamed a second time. And behold, 7 ears of grain, plump and good, were growing on one stalk. And behold, after them sprouted 7 ears, thin and blighted by the east wind. And the thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. So in the morning his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but there was none who could interpret them to Pharaoh. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "I remember my offenses today, when Pharaoh was angry with his servants and put me and the chief baker in custody in the house of the captain of the guard. We dreamed on the same night, he and I, each having a dream with its own interpretation. A young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. When we told him, he interpreted our dreams to us, giving an interpretation to each man according to his dream. And as he interpreted to us, so it came about. I was restored to my office, and the baker was hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they quickly brought him out of the pit. And when he had shaved himself and changed his clothes, he came in before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it. I've heard it said to you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. Joseph answered Pharaoh, it is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, behold, in my dream I was standing on the banks of the Nile. 7 cows, plump and attractive, came up out of the Nile and fed in the reed grass. 7 other cows came up after them, poor and very ugly and thin, such as I had never seen in all the land of Egypt. And the thin, ugly cows ate up the first 7 plump cows. But when they had eaten them, no one would have known that they had eaten them, for they were still as ugly as at the beginning. Then I awoke. I also saw in my dream 7 ears growing on one stalk, full and good. 7 ears, withered, thin, and blighted by the east wind, sprouted after them. And the thin ears swallowed up the 7 good ears. And I told it to the magicians, but there was no one who could explain it to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dreams are one. The 7 lean and ugly cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blighted by the east wind are also 7 years of famine. It is as I told Pharaoh. God has shown to Pharaoh what he is about to do. There will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. But after them there will arise 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will consume the land, and the plenty will be unknown in the land by reason of the famine that will follow, for it will be very severe. And the doubling of Pharaoh's dream means that the thing is fixed by God, and God will shortly bring it about. Now therefore let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh proceed to appoint overseers over the land, and take 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt during the 7